Ayaba yaba 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 ayaba yaba 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 ayaba yaba 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 ayaba ya ayaba yaba 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 ayaba yaba 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 ayaba yaba 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 ayaba nobody wants to see us together. Nobody wanna see us together. Nobody wanna see us together. Let me tell you about the story of my life.
Welcome.
Halala, halala, halala. Yes, a warm greeting from our youth forum. So, we greet using songs. That's our culture. That's how we do things. So, thank you so much for a wonderful conference, first of all. And thank you for how far we've come. So now we are going to be doing our presentation. We'd like to thank you so much for giving us the platform to do our presentation. This is what, the Youth Forum is all about. We want to do a presentation to you to advocate our issues, in front of you and to present what is closest to our hearts. So my name is Jubilee Rubombo. I am the Youth Liaison Officer, and I stand as a young person and also as the liaison officer to bring you, to introduce to you our presentation that we have with all the young people. I've been sent here so that, we can present everything to you. So now that we have already started, I want to say that one of the things that we wanted to say is that we are the voice of the voiceless. And because we are the voice of the voiceless, we aim to please. Whatever that we're going to be sharing here, it's something that, we have done, a lot of presentations on. We've done a lot of consultative meetings on to make sure that when we come here and we present our issues to you, we are presenting something that is relevant to the youth of South Africa and the NACCW Youth Forum. So thank you so much. When we present today, what you're going to see is that we're going to be having videos that will be talking about the issues that we're going to be having, and we're also going to be having impact videos. I will not go into detail now, but I am going to give now an opportunity for us to also get another song from one of our young people to start off our presentation.
Sithandaze liyouth forum, sithandaze liyouth forum. Mama yo yo yo, mama yo yo yo, mama yo yo. Sithandaze liyouth forum, sithandaze liyouth forum. Mama yo yo yo, mama yo yo yo, mama yo yo. Sithandaze lale conference, sithandaze lale conference. Mama yo yo yo, mama yo yo yo. Mama yo yo, sithandaze lale koro, sithandaze li corona. Mama yo yo yo, mama yo yo yo. Mama yo yo, sithandaze li future yet, sithandaze li future yethu. Mama yo yo yo, Mama yo yo yo, mama yo yo.
So the video that you just saw now is a video of one of our young people in preparation of the conference and in preparation of this particular presentation that we are doing. The young person is singing, saying that, we are praying for the conference and we are praying for the youth forum and we are praying also for our future. Right? And in terms of the future, what the young person was speaking about is some of the challenges that we as young people are facing. And this is a prayer that every young South African child is saying. This is a prayer that all the youth forum members are saying. They are saying that we are praying for a better future for our peers as well as for the next generation. We understand that during these times, with the COVID-19 and everything, there are still other issues that we are facing. We are still facing a lot of issues in our country, things like gangsterism, things like GBV, our peers being killed in the streets, like ants. We have so many issues as young people that we want to raise in this presentation. But not just that, the song that we just presented now is also a song that says there's still hope for the future. And we are hoping that as we do our presentation to you, that you will take heed to our cry, that you will understand the emergency, you will understand the urgency of the hour, that this is a deep cry that we've had, the voice that is echoing in Limpopo, it's echoing in Western Cape, it's echoing in KZN, it's echoing in Northwest. These are the voices of the young people that are saying that, enough is enough. We want a better environment. We want a safer environment for South African youth. And this is our time. This is our moment to shine.
The song is good. And they go all out when it's time for the elections.
Remember, when you do share,
We have to promise
independently
by
there's share
no
sound.
souls.
Always click share
And
sound.
at the end, we are the ones who die.
Do we increase the volume?
We are tired of being undermined by people. Every time we try to raise a gesture, they say we are searching for clout. And what is that all about? This is the last shout. We've come in different languages, voices, and multiple races. The tears we cry have dried on our faces. But one day, I hope, I pray that one day all our blood, sweat, and tears will turn to success. And all we put behind us.
When you're sharing underneath them, there is what we call, and even when you share click the video, there is what we call share sound. Also click also share sound.
I didn't say it.
Yeah, it's fine.
They refer to us as the lost and sad generation. Well, I say we are the roots ripped out of a sacred garden. Even though we are born in the time of democracy, we still struggle to build a foundation. A foundation that will help build a better nation through liberation. But we are blocked by the obstacles we face. From our homes we carry a burden of being raised by a single parent. The absence of a father bruises the soul of a young one, whether lost through death or another personal case. They expect us to be perfect while our spirits are down. Our innocence is consumed by drugs. We intoxicate like there's no tomorrow, just to drown our sorrows. We see no hope for the future or better days. Behind closed doors, we suffer severe physical injuries, all in the name of love. We fear to leave because our pride has been broken while trying to build a nest. We've lost our mothers, sisters, and children through this pandemic of gender-based violence. We have
Abuya ngisho uJesu.
Mshina nje usikhambeni.
Oh ushilo uzizwile wena. NoJesu akakuzwanga. Mfazi. Ngifuna ukudla wena kangipheke. Lambile mina.
Bekezela baba sesusuzona.
Ini masimlawo. Wena zokwazi ukuthi ungiphendule. Wena mfazi. Mfazi wena.
We have shed tears trying to find justice in every way for our lost sisters. I hope they find peace as they rest. We have started a war amongst one another. We look down at one another. We speak badly about one another. We no longer love each other. Social media has become the gun loaded with bullets of bullism, gossip, and pressure of materialism. Through these activities, we have managed to emotionally kill one another. By the hatred we throw at each other, we watch our dreams shatter. Now rage flows in our veins like rain from a stormy weather. We crucify each other with judgment and forget the things that matter, which is giving the love we were gifted by the Father. They focus on their personal politics instead of finding solutions to the problems we have. Majority of school kids go to school with an empty stomach. The level of poverty is on the rise. But the greedy ones get richer while there are people who are still out there in the streets. Corruption.
Those were some of the videos that we had that we wanted to share with you. Those are the videos that that represent the issues that the young people are facing in our country. We know that some of the issues that we are facing are, for example, gangsterism. Even though our communities are made to be safe, but they really aren't safe. Communities like the Northern Cape and Western Cape, where there's high levels of gangsterism, show that young people are not able to even go to school safely. Even at schools, there are gangsterism groups that are actually operating in these spaces where they make the children feel unsafe. What do we say about the young people who cannot go to school because they feel that they are unsafe in an environment that is supposed to be one of the safest places in the world for them? What do we say to young people who get hurt in school premises and in all these other different environments because of gangsterism? This is the reality that our youth face, and it is up to us to then go back to a situation where youth feel that they have an environment that allows them to be as they are, that allows them to be who they are, that allows them to continue being children. Our youth feel that now they cannot be children. The childhood is affected. And this is some of the issues that we face as young people. One of the other issues that we are facing as young people is GBV. We have difficulty with understanding some of the things that happen in our spaces because we are trying so hard to fight against so many other issues in this community and forget that we still have to fight against GBV, for example. That GBV is still a big, prominent part of our society. It is critical for us to note that GBV has taken away so many of the youth today. So many of the youth today who have been caught in the crossfire of where, parents were fighting, where people were fighting. What do we say about the lives that we've lost because of GBV? This is a cry from South African youth who are saying that it is time now that we move away from that we actually find a South Africa that is safe for each and every single person. The other issue that we have in our society is absent fathers. In a country like South Africa, it is the norm to have a family that is either a single parent household or perhaps a household where, it's only the extended family. What are we saying about children who are growing without their fathers? Has this now become something that is normal in our society? Do we continue living like this? What do we say? We have now the blessed society that is taking over South Africa. All of this is stemming up out of the issue that we have as absent fathers. What are we saying about these different issues that youth are facing in our country? What do we say? Who is taking accountability? We are saying that enough is enough as youth. We want issues like this to be addressed. It's not enough for fathers to just pay maintenance. We need them in our lives. We need them, in our spaces emotionally. We need them, not just as providers from a distance. We need them in our safe places. The other one is the fact that we need to be participating in the important structures that are occurring in our communities, in our country. When we look how much space do we have in the parliament where young people can actually voice out their concerns? How many people are our age group who can stand for us in the parliament, even in different committees and different structures, leadership structures in our community? What do we say? We're saying that we want to be mobilized into the different spaces so that our voices can be heard. We will not be shut up. We want our voices to be heard. The other issue that we have playing a critical role in our lives today that's very relevant is cyberbullying. Not just so long ago, we just lost one of our sisters, one of our fellow youth members, who is Rufuno. What do we say about that? Do we still continue in a society that does not take consideration of the young people who are in the different spaces that we're in? Cyberbullying of young people ganging up on each other. Who's teaching us accountability? We want youth to take accountability, but in order for that to happen, we need adults to come in and to invest in us by bringing in programs that would actually address the situations that we find ourselves in. There is still hope. And as youth, we are digging for that hope. This is our cry to say that we see that enough is enough. Now we are trying to dig in to find some sort of resolution for the trouble that we are facing. We know that even through social media, that a lot of our young people have been kidnapped just by using social media, just by using that platforms that are supposed to help us network for better opportunities in life, that now we found people who have been promising us jobs, who've been promising us, bursaries, who've been promising us, training opportunities and things like that, and then somehow end up abducting us. What do we say about the hotspots in Gauteng and in Western Cape, where we know that these places are not safe because that's where people are hijacked, that's where people are kidnapped? And yet we still stay with that information and nothing is being done about it. This presentation is a cry from South African youth to rise up. This is a cry to say that we see what's been happening and we're saying enough is enough. We want responsibility to be taken. We want accountability. We want people to come in and say that, hey, we see what's happening and we want to partner with you in stepping up and in showing that there is something better that could happen for the South African youth as a whole. We had so many videos that we wanted to share with you, but because of technical difficulties, we could not share all of them. But one of the things that we have been able to do with the difficulties that we've been facing, yes, with the challenges that we've been facing, there have been so many challenges that we've been facing in South Africa. But one of the things that we've been doing with GBV, for example, we have come up and said that, we are going to start conversations on this. We are going to start campaigns over this. nationally, provincially, even on district level, we said we are going to start the conversation about this. And we have involved different stakeholders in trying to get people to understand that we are doing this and that we want a better society for South Africa. The other issue that we have is body shaming, where young people are being shamed for how they look, maybe for how they dress, for who they are. And so with this, we've created platforms where we can talk about these issues, where we can address some of these issues. Perhaps there are stereotypes in dressing in a particular way or looking in a particular way. And so we provided a platform in our youth forum to say that let's talk about this and let us break those myths that people have about these different, situations that we have going on. The other issue is on looting, is on unrest in our country, and is also on corruption. We say as the youth that we are tired. We want accountability. Excuse me. We want accountability. We want people to come and say that this is what's been happening. So much money disappears in our country and nobody is saying anything about it. As youth, we are saying enough is enough. We want people to be accountable. We want people to take responsibility for what is happening in our country. The high unemployment rate, we want accountability. We know that South Africa has enough resources for us either to empower businesses or to create job opportunities. But even in doing so, there hasn't been enough accountability on our leaders. We want accountability, and we are crying out as the Youth Forum. We are crying out. We are saying that we want accountability. We want people to partner with us. We are saying to the adults in your conference that please partner with us through child and youth care workers from different stakeholders, partner with us in addressing some of the social ills in our country. When we keep quiet, no change is going to come. When we step back, nothing will move forward. This is our opportunity. Partnership with us. Please, please, please invest in us. Partner with us in different programs so that we are able, to move forward in the presentations that we have, in the excuse me, in the campaigns that we have, in everything that we want to do. Please partner with us, invest in programs. Please invest in programs that we are doing. Continue to partner with us in everything that we do to come to a point where we can say that we've addressed the social ills in our community and in our country. Once again, thank you so much for the platform where young people can speak about the issues that they are facing. And we believe that after we've had this conversation, that in the coming years, we will not have to have the same conversation again. We believe that after this conversation, more will be done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. From the Youth Forum of South Africa, thank you so much. We will hand back to you.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Once again, greetings to all our delegates. I just want to observe all protocols so that I can get straight to responding to the presentation that was done. Jubilee, acted. I joined the department in what you have just presented. Is what has been, that is what has encouraged me to move once again and join government space. So, voice that you are talking about, I can become and an advocate for youth issues because they really speak to the heart. And we see these things, what you're talking about, it really breaks your heart because we see it in our communities, we see it in our families, our cousins, our friends, our communities that we engage with are affected by the social ills that you just highlighted. You know, I was just even saying to the colleagues when I was engaging at various forums that there is a sentence that I think I'm done. You know, once you say that sentence in your opening remarks, it really switches me off, where we are saying that young people are a ticking time bomb. And we're saying these things 26, 27 years after our democracy, that young people are a ticking time bomb. And for me, I'm operating at that space and at that level where I am saying, what are we doing about? Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to say that you know, nothing is being done about it, but it's after departing in that space in 2011, these are the things that I put forward. And I do want to say to the young people and the youth forum that have spoken that your issues really are being getting attention. I want to say this mainly because we have embarked in quite a number of initiatives towards addressing issues that are happening in the youth sector. It's not going to be fixed overnight. It's not going to be fixed because I'm back in the government space, but it's going to be fixed because we are all going to be approaching youth development in a way that is different, because we can't do business as usual. We can't do the same things that we've been doing over the past 10 years, and yet we are still sitting here and we're saying young people are a ticking time bomb. It's not even to say that young people are a ticking time bomb anymore, because we did see the bomb during the unrest, where young people were really expressing frustration around issues of unemployment. Young people were expressing issues around issues of poverty and all the other social, you know, gender-based violence, young people being trafficked and so on. We saw the bomb exploding in our faces. And it really has challenged quite a number of us, different sectors, government, including many other sectors, to say that we need to do things differently. So in response, ladies and gentlemen, particularly the Youth Forum that has consolidated the concerns of young people, I do want to indicate to you, maybe others are aware or maybe others are not aware, as at the 20th of October in 2020, Cabinet approved a national youth policy. And this was, you know, championed, or rather is coordinated by the Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities under the leadership of Dr. Bernice and his colleagues as well there, Mr. Emmanuel Kanaka, who are particularly focusing on the aspect of youth, because it's a department that focuses on youth and women and people with disabilities. So the policy, macro policy, we call it a macro policy, it was launched in this year, whereby one of the main or the key areas that was covered by the policy was that each government department needs to have its own policy that is going to seek to address issues of young people in a consolidated and a coordinated fashion. So taking from that and with the processes that had started within DSD, I'm happy to announce at this conference that the National Department of Social Development had its own policy that we took through MANCO and HSDS, and it was approved by higher structures as well of the department on the 23rd of June in this year. So why I'm talking about the policy, I'm sure some of you might be even raising eyeballs to say, okay, now she's going to talk like about a policy because she's in government. But what I need you to understand, and the young people to understand, is that some of the challenges that we've been facing as a sector, and some of the challenges that we've been facing within youth development, particularly at the Department of Social Development, it's because of fragmentation and how we have been doing things and how we've been approaching youth development all this time, whereby we would focus on the welfare part of dealing with youth development, when actually our approach should be that which focuses in a holistic manner, which focuses on the young person as a whole. We do worry ourselves about a suicide that's happening with our young people. We do worry ourselves about teenage pregnancy, about depression, because that is our core mandate. But with the policy that was approved on the 23rd of June by the National Department of Social Development, what we're saying is that in dealing with youth issues, we need to focus on different priorities, because we cannot say that we're only focusing on the emotional aspect of young people when we are saying in one voice that the unrest, which show us that even our beneficiaries of the Department of Social Development are affected by gender-based violence. They are affected by issues of unemployment. So the policy that I'm referring to, ladies and gentlemen, we've just appointed a service provider that's going to assist us to digitize the policy so that it can be accessed and accessible to all the stakeholders in youth development, those who are beneficiaries of the Department of Social Development and the country at large, because it's a policy for DSD and for families and communities. So there are 4 priorities in this policy, ladies and gentlemen. The first priority speaks to issues of quality skills development, encouragement of second chances, and volunteerism through participation of young people. What we're saying as the Department of Social Development with this priority is to say that we need to make provision of skills to young people, because without skills, we will continue singing the same song, that young people are not employed, young people are unemployable, and yet the skills element or the skills part of what we are doing, what we have been doing as a department has not been strengthened. And we're saying with this policy that we need to, strengthen our policy such that our programs continue. I say continue because as much as I'm talking about this policy, there's a lot of work that is done in all the spheres of our government. Our provincial departments do fund skills development even as we speak. Our national department as well, we are doing a lot of work in terms of skilling all the 9 provinces in the relevant skills. I'm talking about even now, we'll be launching skill training on business management development, because what we're saying is that there is a township economy that needs to be strengthened as well. There are young people in township that have got talents, but we need to now decisively invest in ensuring that those young people and the skills that they have are recognized, not only recognized, but they are also coupled with the support to skills development. Then the second priority in the policy of DSD that was launched on the 23rd of June speaks about issues of repositioning youth development in the social sector towards economic transformation, job creation, and entrepreneurship. It is very interesting for me to even be speaking about this priority, because one would always marry entrepreneurship and job creation to what the Department of Small Business is doing and to what other departments are doing other than social development. But what we are saying is that as much as our mandate is that of dealing with issues of young people at the level of the third priority that we have, which is psychosocial, mental, and physical well-being of young people. We are saying as a department that once we have provided with the counseling, using the child and youth care workers that we have, and partnerships and collaborations with the various NPOs and CBOs that we are in partnership with, what we're saying is that it is important that we do something about unemployment that is happening with our young people in the country as well. And I did allude to the third priority of the policy, that it will continue. We will continue offering social services because that is our mandate as a department. But we're saying that on top of that, we need to empower our young people so that we do not sit with young people who do not even see a future just because there isn't skills and decisive funding that goes towards ensuring that our young people are empowered. And the priority 4 of the policy that was launched speaks about active citizenry and social cohesion, where we're saying to the young people, it's good to voice out that we want. But as young people, what are you doing about it? Even the policy does unpack responsibilities of government, responsibilities of the sector, responsibilities of young people, or rather rights and responsibilities of young people. Because as much as young people do have rights, but they have responsibilities, such as we are even approaching the elections now. I know some young people, a lot of young people are disgruntled about what may be happening in our country. But if all young people are going to say, I'm not going to be an active citizen, a devoted citizen, and have influence on the future leadership or the current leadership of the country through what I'm going to do as an active citizen, it's not going to help in terms of changing the current circumstances in our country. Hence, we're saying that young people need to also know that they do take and have a responsibility to carry in as far as changing the circumstances around. And then there's priority 5 and priority 6. I feel like I'm taking more time, which speaks about mainstreaming and strengthening youth programs and engaging young people across the social sector. And the last one speaks about the issues of integrating and coordinating our DSD priorities. Young people are engaged, Jubilee. We have, like I said, we've got the 9 spheres of government, provincial departments across the provinces. We do have forums, we do have dialogues where young people are invited, even as we speak now. I've sent a team to be in Mpumalanga, and we were out there in the previous week. We were in other provinces as well, where we're capacitating provinces on how to interpret the policies that we have into practical interventions for young people, because we cannot say that young people are a ticking time bomb and yet we are not featuring the interventions in our plans going forward as at the beginning of this coming financial year. So if this forum has not been engaged by government, I would like through you, Chairperson, to get their contact details, because we are on the ground. We do engage with youth structures. We do engage with youth forums. We've even done an audit. We're doing an audit of youth clubs as well to determine what are the challenges that are being faced by young people at the ground, even motivating at a higher level, where we're saying in repositioning youth development as a country, we need to do things differently. And the loudest voice that I put forward is that even the funding issue, or rather funding, it remains an issue in our sector, because youth development is not getting enough funding so that we can be able to address these issues as a country. So a lot is happening in the background as I respond to this presentation that was done by the young people. But I do want to say that a lot is happening in the background, and a lot is happening through our provincial departments who work through our district departments as well. And if, like I said, if this forum has not been engaged, then I would really be shocked, and I would want to really link up this forum with the relevant departments and the relevant office, so that these voices will not only wait for us to speak about issues in this conference, but we continuously engage with the young people so that we can find solutions to the challenges and the problems that we have. We're funding a lot of NPOs, we're funding a lot of youth forums and youth organizations as a department, and we're going in the right direction, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Program Director and delegates of the conference. I really appreciate this. I'm inspired by the phrase of the presenter, Jubilee. This is our time, our moment to shine. But the young people and the children tell us that their lived realities are quite heinous. They live with endemic violence, they live with experiences of lack of socioeconomic rights. So really there's impoverishment and lack of dignity as a result of those socioeconomic circumstances prevails. They cry out for what I've made the vision for my office, which is the reimagining and remaking of childhoods. We cannot be complacent about the situation that we have seen. We have seen them reflect in video and in very eloquent words their lived realities. And so we cannot ignore these. In fact, we must keep on bringing these realities home to the decision makers, because sometimes there's a disjuncture between those who make decisions on behalf of the marginalized and on behalf of the people who really need the services to improve their well-being. And they need to be reminded, they need to be constantly reminded of what children and youth's lived realities are like. And, I make it my personal mission and the mission of the office that we will go and visit children in their lived realities. So when I go and connect with children, another big call I heard was partnership. So when I go and develop partnerships with children, I connect with them personally in the spaces where they live. And in the Western Cape, I've started that connection program in the rural areas. I went to Matsikama in October of last year, Berg River Municipality in November of last year. Just before Easter, I was in Hesekwa. Now, in a week's time, 18th of October, I will go to Bito Municipality. And at the beginning of November, I will go to Prince Albert. So you can see that I am making it my mission as an officer in governance. My institution is new. It's a new governance institution. It's a platform for children. It's a bridge to be built between those on the ground and those who make decisions on behalf of us all, those whom we put in power through our vote. I heard there of broken election promises and personal politics and the culture of corruption that we experience in this country, and the cry for accountability. So I want to be that bridge between the voices of children, and I say I am too old to be the voice of a child. I'm too old to be the voice of a youth. You have your own voice. All I am is the amplifier of your voice. So when I go and connect in these communities, I collect the voices. I collect them on voice notes. I collect them on drawn posters. I collect them on little notes to me so that I can reflect them authentically in my reports. And these voices I take to the higher ups, the Hukopa, I call them, the decision makers. And I say, Mamela, listen to the voices of the children, listen to the voices of the parents, of the single parent households, of the children who struggle with the loss of their father, not because their father has been taken away from them through death or passing away, but because their father is absent for one reason or other. The system creates a provision that a father must take responsibility for their child. And that is correct. That is completely correct. But there's many ways in which fathers can take responsibility, not only financial. Fathers can take responsibility emotionally for their children, to be there as a role model, as a mentor, as a guide. And that is as important as providing the finances to make sure that the physical needs are met. The emotional needs are also important. These lived realities of children we have also come to know in this new age is lived out online, is lived out in social media. This is another terrain in which children can find themselves struggling for belonging, struggling for acceptance, but receiving body shaming, but receiving violent attacks. Emotionally, we are killing each other. This is what Jubilee has said before. We crucify each other with judgment. And what can we do about that? We need to be focused on resilience building, on building each other up, on being fruitful influences in the lives of our peers. Be that positivity, be that change in the society, you know. These are words that many other more clever people than I have said before. But we actually have to live these things. We have to be those change agents. So I think we as adults, and here I always say that the paradigm for child rights is not what adults are comfortable with. Adults are not comfortable with the fact that children's rights do not come with legal responsibilities for children. Children cannot clothe themselves, cannot feed themselves, cannot educate themselves, cannot take care of themselves. These are the responsibility of adults. They are the duty bearers in the lives of children. So parents must play that role. And when parents are unwilling or unable to do that, the government must step in. And so I look very carefully at the programs that government has put in place. And one of the programs that is of special importance to me, I will spend many, many years in my term focusing on this: alternative care, state care. The care system the state has put in place for children who can no longer live with their parents. What kind of quality care is being provided to children? Are we doing our best for children? Are children being re-traumatized in those spaces which are supposed to be care spaces? So you will hear my office and I talking a lot about this over the next couple of years, and it will take us a few years to understand, to investigate, to review, to check what are the gaps, the challenges, the problems. Most importantly, we will focus on the experiences of the children themselves. That is my special skill set that I bring as a commissioner. I talk with children, and I am very fortunate to be entrusted with their deepest fears and their wildest dreams. And that is the kind of information that I believe is critical to rebuild our society. This partnership that Jubilee speaks of is something that government does not get right. It's something that government is still struggling to do. They're struggling to build real partnerships with those people who live in the country. I don't use the word citizens. Human rights are for all. So as government, we must supply rights, we must promote and protect and realize the rights of everyone who lives within our borders. And we have a long way to go in terms of governance. Now, governance is the relationship between the people and government. And I am an institution of governance. I am no longer just an ordinary person. I now have an added responsibility, but I'm not government. So I'm not into that system. I don't get co-opted into that system. I remain critical, objective, and I provide feedback. And my feedback is always based on the authentic voice of children and their experiences. So I'm not going to make promises. I'm just going to hold open my hands for partnership. I'm going to say, let's work together. And, you know, Danielle Haynes, she was the chair of this forum. I'm not sure if you've changed your office bearers now. And she really, when she heard that I'm a commissioner and, you know, I've come onto the scene, who's this person? I want to speak with her. And we had a wonderful meeting where she convened the whole leadership structure. And there was a whole, I will use the word interrogation. There was a whole interrogation. There was holding to account of somebody who has the privilege to have another office, me, the Commissioner for Children. That's what you must do. You must interrogate. You must engage. You must agitate. You must activate. You must advocate. Those are the things you have to do to hold people accountable with special power. You said you're going to start conversations, especially around the issue of the endemic violence in our society. And we have to break the cycle of violence. And the breaking of the cycle of violence happens in childhood. So a lot of what I talk about is how do we prevent this? How do we make homes safer? How do we make schools safer? How do we make communities safer in partnership with those people who have the duty, the responsibility to take care of children? I think the future is bright because we have people like Francisco, people like Mo, people like Zeni, people like Donald, people like Jubilee, people like Jabu, people like yourselves, willing to rebuild the society, willing to remake and re-envision childhood. Let's partner together and make a new society happen. I hear you. Let's do the work.